It's Monday morning, and this is the Monday morning wrap-up from 4020 Rugby League podcasts, here to guide you through the weekend in Rugby League. Of course, it's a weekend with tragic circumstances. On Sunday morning, the Batley Bulldogs announced the death of their player Archie Bruce, who'd made his debut the night before against Toulouse in the Championship in a 46-0 defeat. He came off the bench and by all reports did well on his debut. Our thoughts are with his friends and family and everyone at the Batley Bulldogs club. We'll stick with the Championship elsewhere. Toronto beat Rochdale 46-0. It was Bradford 10, Bradford, I get it the wrong way round. They haven't moved in yet. Dewsbury 10, Bradford 34, Leigh 34, Widnes 22, Sheffield 44, Barrow 18, Swinton 32, Halifax 12 and York 22. Featherstone 18, big result for York there in those playoff places because they have now clinched their spot in the playoffs. Toronto top, we know that, 48 points from 25 games. They've only lost one all season. Toulouse and Leigh battling out for second at the moment on 36, York on 35, and there's three teams in the hunt for that fifth place. Featherstone with that defeat remain there on 32. Sheffield just behind them on 30 points. Bradford on 29. And the rest, well, Halifax and Swinton on 19. Batley on 17. Dewsbury on 14. Widnes on 12. Barrow on 9. And Rochdale, as you know, already relegated on 2 points. In League One this weekend, just the four fixtures. West Wales 16. North Wales 56 in the derby on Saturday afternoon. 3 games on Sunday. Whitehaven beat Keighley 48-19 away from home. Newcastle beat Coventry 88-6. Guess that shows what you do when you've got plenty of money behind you. And Oldham 40, Doncaster 14. Looking good for Newcastle in the playoffs at the moment, having bounced back from that defeat last week. Whitehaven top 28 points, 2 points clear of Oldham on 26. Then Newcastle on 25. Huntlet, they're 22 points from 17. They've got a game in hand. Doncaster on 20 and Workington on 19 make up the top 6 at the moment. Crusaders just outside, having won their last 2 games. They're on 16 points. London Scholars on 15. Coventry on 8, Keighley on 5, and West Wales on 2. Busy weekend in Women's Rugby League. Big game on Saturday afternoon at Emerald Headingley Stadium. If you caught any of it online or in person, you'll have been impressed with the game. Leeds 26, Castleford 36. Castleford continuing their unbeaten season in the Super League. 10 wins from 10. Elsewhere on Sunday, Wakefield 4. Bradford 48, Wakefield with their new coach in charge. Wigan 42, York 0. So they've bounced back from a couple of defeats. And Featherstone 7, St Helens 50. Topsy-turvy game there. I think Featherstone was 7-6 up at half-time. But Saints going on to win. Saints second in the table on 18 points. Leeds in third on 14. Then it's a gap of 4 points to Wigan. Bradford chasing that final playoff place on 8. Featherstone on 4. York on 2. And Wakefield on 2 at the bottom of the table. In the Championship, it was Widnes 8, Alton 0, Huddersfield 36, Hull 20, Standing League 4, Warrington 32, and Leigh Miners Rangers 14, Barrow Island Ladies 16. In League 1, Cutsike 8, Keighley 52, Keighley Albion that is, Rochdale 0, Hull Kingston Rovers 74, Whitley Bay 24, Halifax 20, and Wigan St Pat's 14, West Leeds 22. On to Super League, and we start on Thursday night at Emerald Headingley Stadium. Leeds coming in on the back of back-to-back wins, but they couldn't make it 3 in a row. St Helens headed to Wembley with a victory to open up a 16-point lead at the top of the table. 36-20 they won. It was 10-all at half-time. Let's hear from both coaches in a moment. Richard Agar, but first here's Justin Holbrook.
A great win from us tonight and really pleasing result.
We've seen in the past that the weeks in between the semis and the final, form can dip, players' minds can stray. How pleased have you been with the way you've handled the block between the semis and the final?
Yeah, as pleased as you could be. I think it is a difficult period that we've had to go through, and full credit to the playing group. They've just delivered every week, and this week harder again. Obviously we had a few key guys missing, and everyone stood up and wanted to continue how well we've been playing, and did it again tonight against a dangerous lead side. We know how well they've played the last couple of weeks, so to come and get a good win like that and have players playing much bigger minutes than what they normally would, and obviously bringing players off and switching positions and all those things that happen during the game. Players got on with it, and we're really proud of how we've gone about those few games in particular tonight.
As you say, it's been a group effort, a collective effort. Is that the most pleasing thing as coach, that there's now 20, 25 players that you're not afraid to throw into games like this?
Yeah, definitely. And as I said, every time they've been called upon, they've played great, and they did again tonight. Matty Lee's really stood up for us. He probably played about 60 minutes straight and would have kept going. And obviously Kevin Aguama did some classy things. So I thought those two were brilliant, but everybody just worked so hard, and it was great to watch.
Is Lee's okay?
Yeah, I think he'll be all right. He copped a knock there, but he'll be okay.
What about the 6 or 7 who've obviously been missing tonight and over the last couple of weeks? Are you confident they'll all be fit?
Yep, yeah, they'll all be right to play next week, which will be great.
Did you know you'd Wembley team before tonight, and then anyone change your mind? Or?
No, I didn't know it. No, and I just wanted to make sure we played well tonight, which we did, and I'll have a think about that on the bus on the way home. But it's so hard to not try not to get ahead of yourself, and it's a great distraction to have, knowing that we're playing there next week. But that's why I said to give the players a massive rap tonight. It can be an awkward game to play in, knowing next week's occasion, but they just got on with it, and it was great.
I thought our effort were good enough in the first half, but we thought we let him off the hook. We thought we had enough sort of opportunities. We had a couple of opportunities rubbed out, but we were just chasing opportunities that weren't there and trying to force and push passes. We just thought, play some control footy, which at the periods in the game when we did, we caused them a lot of trouble. In terms of the tries we scored and line breaks that we made. And we just thought if we could fix that up second half, then we'd be all right. But second half we come out and throw an hand grenade of an offload, don't touch the ball for 4 sets, and then throw a pass over the sideline and don't touch the ball for 6 sets. That's a lot of defending to do against Saints. Having said all that, the biggest concern for me was the manner of the defence in that, because I think we've shown over a number of weeks that we've got a bit more than that in us. We talked before the game about our concentration levels needed to be high against Saints because, there's such a threat with the ball. And it was poor, but, it lets us know where we're at. We weren't getting too excited over 2 wins, while of course we're happy with the wins and the manner and style of the performances. It's about backing it up week in, week out and being consistent. And I thought with just some players tonight that some guys just happy to shortcut and look to the teammates to make the better efforts, which is not good enough. But as I say, it's enlightened us a little bit. I thought it were always going to be a bit of a test to see where we were at after a couple of good weeks. But we sort of had this at the OKR game too, and we know that 2 good weeks and 1 bad week or 2 is not good enough, and I guess that's why we've spent 3 of the last 4 years in the bottom 4.
Friday night, and Wigan continued their great run of form. 4 wins in a row now. They close the gap on Warrington. They are level on 30 points. Warrington remains second on points difference after Wigan ran out 20 points to 6 winners. In a moment, Steve Price. But first, Adrian Lamb.
Not really thinking about the second. I was angry up in the gantry, but just thought we just had a pretty good win. So didn't mention that in the dressing room, to be fair. But I thought our first half was brilliant, really, really strong. Probably could have scored another 2 tries there as well. So 2 tries in the second half. I know they got 2 as well disallowed, I think. So I'm really pleased.
You must be very, very pleased with how you have been performing over the last couple of months from where you were in 6th and 7th to be joint second now.
Yeah, just had some news about the last time we played them at Magic. We were 7th, so we've climbed a few places since then, which is really pleasing for the supporters and the club. We didn't start the season well, and we still had Sean O'Loughlin out tonight, Ben Flower out, Joe Burgess out, Joe Bullock out. So there's still a fair bit of experience to come back into the side if we can fit them in there somewhere, obviously.
A full game for Bevan French as well. Show some promising glimpses.
Yeah, he's exciting, isn't he? I get on my feet every time he gets the ball. So what's left of this season, and I think 2020 for Bevan French is going to be unbelievable. So I know that'll get some bums on the seat here at DW Stadium, and I think he'll be a revelation for the Super League.
what a performance from Morgan Smithies as well. Man of the match performance from him. He just gets better and better, doesn't he?
Yeah, we had a few teenagers in there today, which was handy as well. So they've gotten better with every match that we believed in them. We could have played them less time or off the bench, but every week they've gotten better, and it's just amazing how the young ones went well there. And he's been great for a couple of weeks, so I'm pleased he's got that.
Do you think Smithies has got what it takes to make the GB squad this autumn?
Yeah, I don't really want to talk about the representative sides with him at the moment. I think he just needs to keep his feet grounded. It's something that him and his teammates he'll earn that through time, no doubt. He's certainly started off well in his career, and I don't think he's close to that yet. I think he's he hasn't even had an off season with the club in full time. So that's amazing how we're talking about him in that light when he hasn't. Because players come back from a pre-season full time like twice the player they usually are. So looking forward to him next year, how good he's going to be.
Encouraged by the second half. Got a reaction out of the lads, but shouldn't have to come to that. We're a professional outfit, and we was just way too fast in that first 40 minutes defensively, offensively. It's a simple game of rugby league, and if you can't control the ruck, you're always going to be on the back foot. That's how it was. Simple as that.
Do you think, obviously, the players had an eye on next week going into the game?
I'd like to think not. However, they are human beings, and they're playing for a different mindset than what we're playing for, and time will tell. But you'd like to think not, but maybe it was.
How's Blake Austin's recovery coming along, Steve?
Yeah, he's going well. Hughes is going well. Charners is going well. So we'll know more next week. A few knocks and bruises again today. So I think we only had one left on the bench again today. So it's been a common theme for us over the last couple of weeks. But
Was Steph Ratchford just brought off with next week in mind?
No. There's a few things would have been flaring up. So I got told that he had to come off, and so it was one of those things there.
What did you say to the players at half time after that first half shot?
It was more about how we can improve our ruck control, and credit the guys. And I thought we had a lot of good contacts and transition management to the ground in that second half, and we invested heavily more in our defence. And for the first 12-14 minutes of the game we had that, and then there was that block prior to half time that I think 25-40 it was wasn't acceptable, and they scored a couple of quick tries, and we're on the back foot. It was disappointing not to get the Deck Patton's second one. I thought that was clearly a try. Then you're back in the fight, and then we're starting to change the momentum of the game. But credit to Wigan, I thought they were worthy winners tonight.
Does the form concern you heading into next week, or is next week just irrelevant because it's a final?
I've been in this situation before, and I know what it takes to win big games. And form goes out the window next week. I've got a squad of international players. I've got a group of men who played over 200, 300 first team appearances, and know what it takes. But it's going to have to take a really special performance against the best team in the competition, St Helens. They're the biggest favourites I'm sure in the Challenge Cup history. We'll be the biggest underdogs. Time will tell.
And they're level on 30 points with Hull FC, who lost to Salford. Salford in great form, up to 5th in the table, 28 points after their big win at Hull by 44 points to 22. But there was no bigger result on the weekend than on Saturday night in the south of France. The Catalans, pathetic again, but take nothing away from the London Broncos. They win for the second time in the south of France, 17 points to 4. Steve McNamara in a moment, but first the victorious Danny Ward.
Pretty similar, but I think the game plan just went out of the window because we got put under so much pressure that first half that we had the outside backs in just carrying, trying to make meters, trying to find the line at times with the kicks and just give the forwards a little bit of a breather because Callum was really putting us under the pump. You know, got some big boys and some strong ball carriers, and the offloads were hurting us, and they're hard to defend. And the game plan went a little bit out the window. We didn't have too much good ball and didn't execute that well down that end of the field. But you know, we've done enough to get the 2 points.
And showing quite a bit of depth and strength as well. Impressed with the Armitage and Heinrich from the bench there.
Yeah,
kind of a product and a Union lad coming into the London side looking like regulars.
Yeah, they was absolutely outstanding. You know, put Andy on the bench because I know he can punch out big minutes. He's got a massive engine on him for the young kid, and the big kid as well. And he did a fantastic stint out there. Just did his job and was real tidy. And yeah, really impressed with Guy. You know, with his 30 minutes. He's only played a couple of games. Played for Scholars last week, and then you know just trained with us for about 3 weeks now, and it was outstanding. Won us a couple of penalties for eye shots, which I've no idea why when you're 7.5 foot. So it was game changers when he came on, some big carries.
So with that kind of depth, must give you confidence. With 3 games to go against close rivals, obviously Leeds next. You've got a week off first. Are you going to take each game as it comes? That's your mantra.
No, play shit in it. Yeah. Just keep fighting them ones out, one game at a time. But yeah, we've got that depth in the squad, and I'm confident in every one of the 31 lads we've got at the minute who can go in and step in and do a job. But it'd be nice to have a week off next week, and on to Leeds, back down at home, which will be nice. And we'll just give the boys a few days off now to recover from that, and then back in preparing for Leeds. And it is one game at a time.
For a game what had so much riding on it, for the stakes to be so high in terms of getting that win for us and what it would do for us, to put in a performance that was as disconnected as I've seen from a group, you know, is something that is obviously, you know, unacceptable for us as a club. So yeah, I'm just right now just trying to work out how that performance came about. You know, we had a horrible start to the game. We kicked the ball out on the full. We give a penalty away on tackle 2. We have an intercept away. You know, we're 8-0 down. But that sometimes happens in games. But then not to respond to that. You know, we had a little flurry just after half time where we looked something like a team for 10 or so minutes, but nah. You know, there was just no connection with our group whatsoever today. That's what I'm saying. It's not like it was a pre-season game. It's not like it was an end-of-season game where there was nothing to play for. The stakes were huge, and we've shown that, you know, when we come to some of the big games, we can perform and beat the best. But today just shows probably where we're at right now, you know, and we've got to start asking some questions as to, you know, whether we're happy with what, you know, that we're not fighting relegation, you know, that we won at Wembley last year, that we won at Barcelona in a big game. No. Playing sport, professional sport, is about being the best you can be all the time, and we've not been that. You know, we've not been that for a number of weeks now, or for a while now, and that's what's disappointing. If we win our last 3 games, there's a chance, but you know, we're not going to win our last 3 games playing like that. So there's going to have to be a dramatic shift in our performances, and to do that consistently over 3 games to give ourselves a chance. Look, we have got some players who are very important to us in terms of that connection. We sat on the sidelines, so you know, there's some players that certainly could help on that. But no, the players out there have the responsibility, and we just separate from each other, and it's very, very tough to see, very tough to you know, to be part of. You know, we're all part of that. To see that happen today, absolutely. We're 15 years old as a club. You know, like that's wrong. What's happened today? Credit to London, by the way. I've got to say that. Credit to London. You've got to give them credit. You know, it's not just about how poor we was. They got out there and won the game. But of course you can, and it's about building a club. You know, building, you know, over a number of years, everything involved with the club, and for people to understand what it takes to win competitions. We found out what it takes to win a competition, a knockout competition last season. We've been there or thereabouts this season, throughout the season, around the 5. But we've just not been good enough, consistently enough, over a period of time to push ourselves to that next stage right now. We may win the next 3 games and things may change, but it won't change in terms of what we're looking to do long term at this club. There's numerous things happening at the club that are good for the long term of this club, but right now we're falling short of where we need to be. It's absolutely not an impossible job. There's only 4 teams have won the Super League competition since '96. It's a very hard job. It's a very difficult job for everybody involved. And we'll work out and we'll find a way, to get through, to get to that point where eventually this club can challenge to win a grand final.
Castlereagh kept up their challenge for the playoffs, winning at Huddersfield 24-0. Is that 2 games in a row? Huddersfield have been nilled at home now. And a big game on Sunday was at KCOM Craven Park. Hull Kingston Rovers versus Wakefield. Wakefield out into a 14-0 lead. Pegged back to 14-10 at the break, but kept Hull KR scoreless in the second half. 24-0, 38-10. Where did that result come from? In a moment we'll hear from Tony Smith. But first, let's hear from Chris Chester.
Good, Chris.
Hey,
That feel good?
Yeah, huge relief. Huge relief. It's been a real challenging period, probably the most challenging period I've had as a coach. But that performance there, were first class from my boys. Really proud of them, and just to keep them scoreless that second half. The desperation they showed on the try line with 1 minute to go. They didn't want Hull KR to score. I thought we were desperate today. We knew how important this game was, and we were probably the more desperate out of the 2 teams.
Is that just sort of showing with the result yesterday with London? I think last week you said needed 1 win. It might be more than that.
Yeah, I turned it off after 10 minutes. I'd seen the trailer there. So yeah, listen, it's in our hands. It's in our death. We've just got to make sure that we keep performing like we did for that 80 minutes there. That was probably one of the best 80 minutes performances we've had as a group for a hell of a long time. I was really pleased with the start of the game. We had a lot. That was a strong win. We had a lot of defending to do on this try line, and kept coming up with the right answers. The second half, the way that we approached the second half, I think we completed 91%, and obviously won the score count 24-0 in the second half. is very, very pleasing. So. Yeah, we're all delighted. I got a little bit emotional there in the dressing room with the boys. It's a huge relief, and coaching can be a lonely place sometimes, and it's certainly been a lonely place these last 8-9 weeks.
How would be the spine today? Like Bruff with his 40-20, and Miller with a little jink and his first try, and Esquire looks like he really slotted it full back. Really.
Yeah. The halves have been getting a lot of criticism through media and social media, things like that. And I thought they certainly shut a few people up today. I thought Bruffy his kicking game was fantastic. 40-20 against the wind in that first half. I thought Milky were excellent. They've just told the boys they just got to run the ball a little bit more, and they both ran the ball really, really well. Morgan's a class player. Disappointed that we didn't make the most of those two chances. Just needed to probably back himself. But it just a really, really good team performance. I thought his middles were outstanding the first 40 minutes, and we challenged the middles. We certainly challenged the bench because the last couple of weeks we've been getting off to a good start and then concede back-to-back tries just before half time. So I thought Greeny were fantastic for us. I thought Adam Tangata were really good, and the experienced guys there, Coppy and Anthony England and Tyler Randall, when he came on, I thought he changed the game for us.
Tony, not the result obviously you wanted. What are your thoughts after that one?
Yeah, no, far from it. We were way off where we needed to be, and way off the pace of what Wakey were. Disappointing, and it's something that we didn't see coming because we've trained really well and prepared really well. So that's one of the surprises sport can dish up to you sometimes, and we've had that sometimes go the other way for us too, where we thought our backs were to the wall and we've come out and we've put in a performance that we've come away with a victory that may well have surprised us a bit too. So unfortunately it was the first one today where you come away and you're looking at a performance that you want to fix.
How do you fix it then, I guess, is the next question.
Yeah. You go through the same process you always do, whether you win or lose. Go and assess it and look at what's good and what's not so good. What areas that we really need to train and brush up on and practice, and the areas that we may well have let let slip from our last performance. So yeah, it's just all the usual processes that we would go through, win, lose or draw.
It's a 3-game season now. Does this week off come at a good time to allow you to really prepare for that?
Yeah, I think so. I think think it's a positive thing for us. Had we have put in a performance, that and been on the other side of it, I think we would have liked to kept it going. So we've got a couple of weeks to fix things up. So we'll certainly do our best to do that.
How much of it is a mental challenge at this stage?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe it is, and maybe there's that internal pressures, but it's footy, It's playing sport. We've got the same job to do no matter what. It's the same as it was yesterday, or it's the same as it has been for the last 3 months. Well, hold on, since February, it's the same. It's go out there and do your best, and we've got to do that over the next 3 games. Had we have won today, we certainly wouldn't have been taking the foot off the gas, because you're not safe until it's all over. That's when we'll know who it's the train smash has happened to them. But until then, we just got to keep going and fighting and right through. So yeah, it suits me, because I'm a big one that. Teams fight right to the end, no matter whether they're safe or indifferent or which end of the table they're at. So, should be good.
Here then is the Super League table after 26 of 29 weekly rounds. St Helens top 16 points clear. Warrington second on 30, Wigan third 30, Hull FC fourth 30, Salford fifth 28 points, sixth Castleford 28 points, Catalan Dragons seventh on 26 points. And then there's the big battle. Leeds in 8th on 20. Wakefield in 9th on 20. Huddersfield in 10th, 18. Hull KR 11th, 18. London Broncos 12th, 18 points. Challenge Cup weekend next weekend when we return. Wow. All eyes. London Broncos versus Leeds. Catalans, Hull KR, Wakefield, Wigan, and Hull FC versus Huddersfield. Those big games at the bottom end of the Super League table. So a weekend tinged with sadness, in which we remember again that, it is just a game. It is, not important. It's important, but it isn't. You know what I mean? It's an escapism from real life, but unfortunately real life sometimes gets involved in our world as well. We'll be back on Monday night to talk everything in the world of Rugby League. Nothing much has happened over the past few days, has it? Join us from 6 o'clock for that, and don't forget to download the podcast, like, subscribe, share, do all the good things. We were one of the top podcasts in the world of Rugby League, but unfortunately everyone's downloading the official Super League one now, so we've dropped down the charts. What can you do? Not a lot.